U.S. Secretary of Education is in Philadelphia today to speak with borrowers who recently received debt relief through the federal loan forgiveness program. Secretary Miguel Cardona joining us now here in studio. Secretary, thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
It's good to have you. You know, so tell us about the new developments in the program.
Sure, definitely. First of all, I'm going to City Hall a little bit later, talking to some city employees who have benefited from debt relief, people who have chosen to serve the public. You know, and that's part of this, what we're trying to really share is that across the country there are people that, they want to get ahead, but our higher education financing system is broken. For too many people, they haven't been able to have access to it. So we're fixing a broken system. Part of it is debt relief, but part of it is more affordable repayment plans that we've been promoting. Today's focus is listening to folks who are public servants, people that we called essential 4 years ago. Remember that?
Yes.
We got their backs now. So they're getting debt relief. These are people that have been paying their debt for over 10 years, people that are public servants. They chose public service not to make millions of dollars, but to make their community better. So we've got their back, yeah.
So tell us about the emails. People will start getting emails today, and you mentioned sort of the eligibility, but we know that there have already been programs in existence. Right. How does this factor in now? Sure.
Well, look, in the last 3 years, we've been working really hard to try to provide debt relief to those who have earned it, people that are owed it. And, it's really important because sometimes people say, oh, this is a giveaway. It's not. In 2007, a law was passed for public service loan forgiveness. So you work for 10 years in public service, you pay your bills for 10 years, you get debt relief. That's part of the plan that we're announcing today. But we are also rolling out a bigger plan, the student debt relief plan that we anticipate August, September, that will, it'll support up to 30 million people with some form of debt relief. These are people that have been paying their debt for over 20 years. These are people that have been impacted by runaway interest. I spoke to someone in South Carolina a couple weeks ago who paid over $250,000 on a loan for $60,000 that he took out over 20 years ago. So, the system is broken. People are paying interest and not really getting to the principal. So we're fixing that. It's part of President Biden, Vice President Harris's plan to fix a broken system, really.
All right. Obviously, we're going to see a change of administration come the beginning of next year. Will this continue?
I can tell you that I know Vice President Harris is a supporter of this, believes in this, is going to continue the efforts. We're just warming up, man. We have about 5 million hardworking Americans that have benefited from the work that we've done so far. We anticipate up to 30 million with this new rollout of plans. So I know Vice President Harris is a very strong supporter of this, and she'll continue this work.
Education funding here in our tri-state region has been a real issue in terms of, the public schooling here. Yeah. What do you say to educators and superintendents and parents and teachers who are just desperate for that federal funding that's so needed? When I took over as Secretary of Education, I was fortunate to join an administration that recognizes the importance of education. The American Rescue Plan just passed. It was $130 billion to schools. And we know here, I visited, Philadelphia is actually one of my first stops when I became Secretary. And I knew the important work that the leaders here, the educators were doing, not only to provide recovery for students, but make sure that the buildings had the maintenance that it needed. I remember that being an issue here in Philadelphia. But our message is we have to invest in education if we're serious about making sure our students have the best potential. So there's federal funding, but there's state and local. I'm proud that in the governor's proposal, there's a significant increase in education funding, which would go to increased salaries, higher education programming, to make sure that the students here in Pennsylvania, in Philly, are prepared for the next step. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right.